Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abasi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning,
to all our
Rotus.
viewers out there. Beginning, of course, as always, with oil. Nothing really much to report here. Oil still very much range-bound in the $70 region. $74.05 for crude. 70 for West Texas Intermediate, the U.S. grade, which has been oscillating between the high 60s and low 70s. Natural gas is up. Of course, Nigeria's benchmark there for 2024. To Asian markets, still pretty bearish. Shanghai Composite Index down, Kospi down, which of course leads losses on Tuesday. Hang Seng, Nikkei. Reuters is reporting that China is planning on raising their budget deficits from 3 to 4%. No official word yet, so we're going to wait until the authorities actually confirm that. But it looks like they want to spend more money essentially on stimulus measures, which of course will stretch the deficit if income doesn't come in as expected. So we'll see what that does for the Chinese economy. To Germany, you're already talking about the collapse of the government there, snap elections coming up. Germany is in a really tight place right now. The latest HCOB flash purchasing managers index for the private sector, business activity down for about 6 straight months now. Manufacturing has been in the doldrums. Business confidence is below historicals in Germany. So the PMI, of course, is the purchasing managers index, a survey you carry out, and when you ask manufacturers, how are your inventories, how is employment, how is supply chains, blah, blah, blah. So 42.5, 3-month low. If you're below 50, you're contracting. If you're above 50, you're expanding. Services, though, is above 50. So 51 points there for the services side for Germany 2 months. And that seems to be what's pushing the economy forward. To France, where, there has been, the continuous discussion around the economy there. The Banque de France, which is basically the central bank of France, has put out a new estimate for GDP growth and basically reduced it to 0.9% for 2025. Prior it was 1.2. 2024 forecast, we'll see what turns out, but it looks like it's 1.1% growth. And they're highlighting the budget and political uncertainty. France reportedly spends about 57% of GDP on welfare services, pensions, healthcare, and so on and so forth. The average for Europe is about 48%. So France really needs to tighten its belt. Here's the governor of the central bank of France here. He was talking to a newspaper. And it was essentially saying that this budget thing needs to be sorted out. So he says, if our country remains in budget denial due to political friction, it would risk progressively slipping further behind economically and versus other European countries. That's Francois Villers-de-Gaol, who is the governor of the bank there. I think we move to the U.S. now. And Masayoshi Son, CEO of SoftBank, apparently made a pledge to invest $100 billion.
He doesn't have the money.
Is higher than the market cap of the company, I think.
He doesn't have that money.
So here he is. This thing was trending all over social media yesterday. Here he is with, here he is with President Trump making the pledge. And then Trump, live on television at the time, now said, no, can you do 200 billion? So it was a little bit of an awkward moment. But here it is.
We were discussing, and President Trump said, Masa, double that is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's what I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion and say he can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but, he's now asking to do more. I think, with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right.
200. He'll make it happen. 200 billion investment.
He is a great negotiator.
He's a brilliant guy and did an unbelievable job, and the people of Japan and all over the world are very proud of him. They have tremendous respect for him. So when he does what he just did, and I would be surprised if it didn't go to 2. When you say you'll try, I know you'll do it.
I will really try. Yeah. And I need your support, though.
You'll have my support.
All right.
You'll have our country's support.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you, Master, very much.
Fantastic.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Man, the guy. So, but look, here is what was trending on social media. They pulled, the internet never forgets. Here's a tweet. This happened in 2016 when Trump won. Look at that, 2016. He says, SoftBank of Japan has agreed to invest $50 billion in the US towards business and 50,000 new jobs. Masa said he would never do that had we not won the election. There's even a video. We've even got the video from 2016. It's a little hard to hear, but you hear Trump making that $50 billion announcement and 50,000 jobs. Yeah, here it is.
That scene was at...
Which just agreed to invest $1 billion in the United States and 50,000 jobs. And he's one of the great men of industry.
That money never came. It never showed up. The 50 billion never came. The 50,000 jobs never came. So it's just history repeating itself. Trump is trying to say, okay. Anyway, to Africa, William Ruto at, I think it was the Johari High School, made an announcement that Kenya wants to move to Africa now. Kenya wants to replace charcoal, firewood with LPG for public schools. Here's him talking about the private sector joining them on that initiative.
I am inviting the private sector to work with us on this very important project of delivering clean energy to all our schools. This is a project that we are not going to spend so much government money. This project is going to be financed by the private sector. As we buy cars from them, they will be required to install all the LPG tanks in our schools and in our other facilities. And therefore, I am asking the ministry to facilitate a process where the private sector can play their part in making sure that we roll out this program in the shortest time possible. And in any case, not more than the next 1 year. Therefore, Minister and your team, the children of Kenya, in our 11,000 boarding schools around Kenya, TVETs, and other institutions, now know that in the next 1 year, they will have gas delivered to their schools, and we will save on the destruction of our environment. We will reduce on the cutting down of trees, and also we will improve on the health of those who are busy in our kitchens, in our schools, that they will not be inhaling carbon dioxide, they will not be suffering the vagaries of disease, and they will also be they will be more healthier, and they can deliver on their responsibility to provide food for our children and for all learners in our institution without going through the difficulties of using charcoal or using firewood. So this program gives us a win-win outcome.
Okay, so Nigeria, we've already discussed this. I have nothing more to add. The front page of today's This Day newspaper, Nigeria's newspaper of record, the investment coming from Shell. When this broke yesterday, we actually went to Shell's website to make sure, and we pulled this up. No,
that's hate speech.
Shell invests in Bonga North Deep Water Project. We broke it on the Global Business Report yesterday. I know, but we just wanted to make sure. So Shell has announced.
So you don't believe the Nigerian
It's not that I don't
government.
believe it, but you know, with recent history, we just went there. Shell has confirmed it. There it is right there. And then finally, hey, shout out to Kingsley on our YouTube chat group. You're saying, Rotus, you're not talking about inflation. Kingsley, of course I am. It's part of the discussion today. Here it is. Inflation at 34.6 year on year for headline. Look at food climbing back up to 40. Festive season. Hopefully harvest takes care of that. But, you know, it's still a long way to go in terms of working that out.
At some point in the year, when the harvest was good, they said, oh, it was going to take care of all of that. Ayo made a very strong point. You see, policies, not following through policies. When the government said they were going to remove those import tariffs, yeah, some people argue that, oh, it was going to affect local farmers and all of that, but we argued that, okay, let's just do it for the first time so that at least we can cushion the effect of food, but it was not properly lined. I think they wrote an article about it that they had not even highlighted the companies. What were the threshold for the companies that were going to import all of these policies somersault? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And that's why, in all fairness, the Bonga deal is a good one. it had been concluded, it had been on for a bit, then there was a protracted legal battle with the Bonga partners and
which
NNPC.
this government sorted out.
No, it was not this government that sorted out the legal battle, with due respect. It was sorted out in 2021. In fact, you can go and check Premium Times. There was an article written to the effect that the legal battle was sorted out in 2021. The announcement was made that agreement was reached, with the consortium in 2021. But the financial investment decision was done here. And that's why I'm happy.
And that's the point there. Final investment decision comes at the end.
I'm happy. Most of the work was done in 2021, the bulk of this. I am happy because at least it's going to bring back a level of investment, into our oil and gas sector.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's deep water.
Yep.
This is over 1,000 meters deep within that. But at least it's a good one. A lot of the seismic work was done in the 90s for the Bonga field and all of that. This is Bonga North. There's also Bonga Southwest, and this oil mining license 118. But, this is a welcome development. As regards Masa, Masa...
Your guy, in Saudi, you watched him.
I was in a plenary session.
Yeah.
But you see, it's as if Masa used to eat masa in his mind. If you get the point, you get the point.
All right.
Masa and suya, don't miss it. Glover Court.
All right, very quickly, I'll talk about Kenya.
Yeah.
First of all, on inflation, I'll just say a word on that. This then begs the question, the interventions by the CBN in terms of, especially the MPC, as to taming inflation and how effective that has been. They did say that some of these interventions might take a bit of time for us to begin to see the effect and that we should give them January or so. But it'll be interesting to see that, or to note that beyond monetary interventions or monetary policy, if you don't get your fiscal part right, it's not, and other parameters, you're still going to have challenges in this. We already talked about one of the main drivers, which is food inflation, and how that will continue to persist if certain things are not addressed, including investments in agriculture and actually shoring up local produce by supporting our local farmers. But beyond that, it's actually part of the Kenyan National Cooking Transition Strategies from 2024 to 2028. And it is, aside from cleaner energy, it is also, I love the clip you played where the Kenyan president was encouraging private investment, that they wouldn't spend a lot of money as a government. I wish, taking a leaf from Kenya and Nigeria, this whole CNG initiative, the president and the government has taken quite a huge responsibility with that, spent a lot of money on that. But if we can incentivize the private sector so that we are not spending money that can be used in other areas to fund an initiative. I say this because he made a good point that they sell their cars to us. So it's a win-win situation. So let them also provide, let them support this initiative. Let them support gas. The good news for that is it's cleaner energy. The students won't inhale the smoke that comes from firewood. Tree cutting, deforestation would also be addressed because you have to cut trees for firewood. So these are good initiatives, but also great in terms of funding strategy for it, which mustn't always be from the government. Incentivize the private sector.
Okay, yesterday we said that this week is about rate setting and, decisions from central banks. Now, although you talked about SoftBank of Japan, the other story is that the Bank of Japan is going to take a decision by Thursday. In a survey of 25 economists that was conducted, 13 of them said they're certain that the Bank of Japan is going to hold rates. Despite the fact that about a month ago, Kazuo Ueda, the BOJ president, had pointed out that rate hikes will continue. But now Ueda himself is saying that they have to watch spending trends, with wage growth trends, and the policies that will come from the United States when Trump assumes office. So the expectation is that maybe in January, the next time after July, we'll find the Bank of Japan raising interest rates. You talked about oil. Yes, crude oil is also in a holding pattern, again because of expectations about Trump and declining demands in China. And then you talked about Asia. Yeah, the reports from Asia this morning are mixed. Again, they themselves are waiting for the Fed rate that will be announced tomorrow. So, there is a lot of holding pattern in that space. Yesterday, we talked about Bitcoin. Bitcoin even did better as at this morning. It's gone up to about $107,000 per unit. And finally, the budget. You have not talked about the budget of Nigeria. If you look at that budget, expenditure is more than revenue, which is the other point I wanted to make the other time. Now, who spends more than
He
plans to earn.
Right.
And then you say you take 13 trillion. Does it make sense? And even all the other parameters, are confusing. They don't make sense. Plus inflation in 34% territory. What it means is that the cost of everything has gone up. Is there anything that ever comes down in this country? Well, when it comes to inflation, core inflation, rural and urban inflation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.